Hello and welcome to the MLB pregame show here on the Coliseum Sports Network. I'm Raymond Sims. The Tigers have forced the hand of the Cubs, beating them last night in Chicago 3-0. That now brings us to today's matchup, a decisive second game in the East Regional Championship. The winner will move on to face the Houston Astros in the Coliseum Baseball Championship Series. The pitching matchup today has Tsuyoshi Wada for the Cubs, taking on Detroit's David Price. Price is the second pitcher, Max Scherzer from last night being the first, to have a second start in the Coliseum Baseball Tournament. Price won his last start against the Pirates, if you remember that shellacking in Detroit. So here's the lineup for both sides. Leading off for the Tigers will be the center fielder, Rajai Davis. Batting second will be the second baseman, Ian Kinsler. Batting third will be third baseman, Miguel Cabrera. He'll move from first for the first time in this tournament. In his place, batting fourth, the first baseman, Victor Martinez, who sat out the first game, came in as a pinch hitter. Batting fifth will be the right fielder, Torrey Hunter. Batting sixth will be the left fielder, J.D. Martinez. Batting seventh will be the shortstop, Eugenio Suarez. Batting eighth will be the catcher, Brian Holiday, who will fill in for Alex Avila. And batting ninth will be the pitcher, David Price. For the homestanding Cubs, looking to get a win here against the Tigers, leading off will be the left fielder, Chris Coghlan. Batting second will be the second baseman, Javier Baez. Batting third will be the first baseman, Anthony Rizzo. Batting fourth will be the shortstop, Starlin Castro. Batting fifth will be the third baseman, Luis Valbuena. Batting sixth will be the center fielder, Arismendi Alcantara. Batting seventh will be the right fielder, Justin Ruggiano. Batting eighth will be the catcher, Wellington Castillo. And rounding out the lineup will be the pitcher, Tsuyoshi Wada. So before we head out to the north side, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the Coliseum Sports Network here on YouTube for all of the best fictional sports action. Once this tournament is over, we'll have a whole bunch of fun stuff. We'll have a few more baseball games. We'll have basketball coming around soon enough. We'll even throw some football in there, and then down the line, not too far, we'll have football as football season approaches. Also, be sure to check out the official website, simscoliseum.com, as well as the social media channels for Sims Coliseum on Twitter, Facebook, and Tumblr. It's going to be a beautiful night here in Chicago. Scattered clouds, but no rain in the forecast, and that's really what we hope for. It's high stakes, though. Winner moves on, loser goes home. It's the second game, do or die, of the Eastern Regional Championship here on the Coliseum Sports Network. This one is for all the marbles out in the Eastern region, a decisive Game 2 in the Eastern Regional Championship. The Detroit Tigers and the Cubs back at it from Wrigley Field. Winner moves on to the championship series. Loser goes home. Cubs pick up a second home game here as they take on the Tigers, but for the wrong reason. They lost 3-0 last night. Tigers ready to take the field offensively. Here's a look at the starting lineup. Some changes defensively, but for the most part, a lot of the same names you may very well recognize from throughout this tournament run. They'll be taking on a new face for the Cubs pitching staff, Tsuyoshi Wada. He debuted this year. He's 2-1 with a 3.15 ERA. We're ready to go from the north side. Here's Rajai Davis stepping up to the plate. First pitch from Wada. Davis lays down the bunt. It'll be rounded up by Valbuena, and he will not get the throw in time to first. And we lead off with a bunt single by Rajai Davis. So we'll take a look at the defensive lineup here. Everybody that you very well recognize from last night. So no changes there for the Cubs. Change Rick Renteria mate. He switched around Alcantara and Ruggiano in the batting order. Here's Ian Kinsler. There's the first pitch taken of the game on the second batter. Cubs starting their second rookie pitcher as they come down here to the bottom of their rotation. They're just now playing their fifth game. While the Tigers, who had to fight their way through the losers bracket to get to this point, are now playing their seventh. Here's the 1-1 to Kinsler. He'll take a fastball high. From Kyle Hendricks, we saw some very good pitching for about the first 4-5 innings. In that 5-inning span, he gave up 4 hits, but he didn't give up any runs, and then he gave up a 3-run home run in the 6th. That was really all the Tigers needed to get the win. So while Hendricks had a decent performance up at the mound in a pressure situation, Wada has a tough act to follow. He's behind 3-1 here to Kinsler. This one in the zone, hit down the first base line by Kinsler off of the padding in foul territory, and that'll be just enough to bring Davis home for an RBI double. And the Tigers are already on the board, 2 batters in, 1-0. And here's Miguel Cabrera starting in his familiar third base spot. However, he's now at third. He's batting third in his familiar spot, but he's starting at third base today to make room for Victor Martinez so that he's not sitting on the bench. Gives the Tigers a bit more offense instead of starting Nick Castellanos. While he is definitely an up-and-coming prospect that's done a lot of good things for this team, in a situation like this where you're trying to get to a championship, the Tigers want to make sure that they have their most optimal lineup available. They're tied up on the 4-seamer. And the count is now tied, 1 ball and 1 strike. Kinsler's at second in scoring position. So Cabrera is going to look to drive him in. He went 0 for 3 and drew a walk, did Cabrera. Let's see if he can at least get on base somehow. He takes a slider outside, 2 balls, 1 strike. Meanwhile, Wada, 33-year-old rookie from Konan, Japan. Pitch outside, and just like with Kinsler, he's behind 3 balls and 1 strike. Kinsler was able to slap it down the first base side. We'll see what Cabrera does here. He'll do nothing, and he'll take his base. And now there are runners on first and second for the Detroit Tigers. Yesterday, the next batter that will be coming up will be Torrey Hunter. He's going to have to step aside here for the first baseman, Victor Martinez. Victor Martinez started out as a catcher in Major League Baseball. As the years have gone on, he slowly moved his workload over to first base. He's only played 2 games behind the plate for Detroit this season. Considering that he dealt with an injury in the middle of the year, Brad Ausmus said that really not likely that he's going to put Martinez through the strenuous paces that come with being a catcher. First baseman is behind in the count, 0-2. And this one will drop into the glove of Baez for out number 1. So finally, we get the first out for Wada on the 4th batter for the Tigers. Now that'll bring up right fielder Torii Hunter. Hunter went 1 for 3 yesterday. That one hit was a single. He also drew a walk. Four-seamer over the inner half of the plate. Wada is in business. No balls, 1 strike. Wada spent 9 seasons in Japan before making the transition here to America. Pickoff attempt at second. Kinsler gets back in time. This one in the air, carrying to right field, and Hunter has himself a home run. 3-run shot. And Detroit is out to a huge lead, 4-0, here in the top of the first. Here in Wrigley Field in the tournament, we've seen 2 home runs hit out of Wrigley Field. Both have been by the Tigers. Last night it was J.D. Martinez, and this evening, Torii Hunter. Getting the Tigers on the board, and now it is 4-0 for J.D. Martinez. So Martinez hit the home run last night. Hunter going yard tonight. We'll see if J.D. has any more power in him this evening. 9 seasons in Japan for Wada. Finished his career there with a 3.13 ERA and a 107-61 record. Four-seamer up there, 2 balls and 2 strikes to J.D. Martinez. Considering the age and experience of Wada, we'll see if his confidence takes a hit after such a big home run. Jeter jump throw by Castro, can't get to first in time, and Martinez got in there by a centimeter, if that. Take a look at it again here on replay. This one hit, not the best, but it drops fair, and then Castro tries to get it over there to first in time and just barely misses. So the hit parade continues for the Tigers. Here's Eugenio Suarez. He's moving up a spot in the lineup. I'm sure he's pleased with that. He's making space for Brian Holiday, who will follow. Only 1 out so far here in the top of the first inning before the Cubs even take their first swings up at the plate, and the Tigers are already ahead 4-0. But the Cubs are already behind 4-0. Four-seamer low in the zone, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Suarez had a pretty good day last night. 2 hits in 4 at-bats. Change up outside, he'll take it. 2 balls and 2 strikes for Eugenio Suarez. The pitch, he'll take it. And he'll go down on strikes looking. And through all of the hits, Wada's able to get 2 outs. You see it here, low outside corner. That's what does in Suarez. We'll see him later, but in the meantime, here is Brian Holiday making his first appearance here in the Coliseum Baseball Tournament. He couldn't have come in a more interesting time. Brad Ausmus's feeling that Holiday's better equipped against the left-hander Wada. Puts him in. First time here in the 7th game for Detroit in this tournament. Here's the 0-1 to Holiday, swinging a miss. No balls and 2 strikes. JD Martinez just waiting there at first. This one popped up in the air. Rizzo's chasing it down. And he's got it in foul territory. So we won't see the starting pitcher until the next inning. But we've seen 8 batters come up. 4 of them come back home. Now the Cubs will finally get their first chance on offense. Welcome back to Chicago. Rick Renteria, as you saw him, not incredibly happy with what's going on right now, but the Cubs have their first chance to put a dent into what is now a 4-run deficit. They'll be Coghlan, Baez, and Rio all due up, and they'll be taking on David Price, who got a win in 7 2/3 innings of work against Pittsburgh. Regular season, David Price is 1-0 as a Tiger with a 3.18 ERA. Here's the defensive lineup. Of course, you see the changes at catcher, first, and third that I alluded to in the earlier half inning. Leading off for the Cubs will be Chris Coghlan. First pitch is in there. 1 ball, no strike. David Price on the season is 12-8. Counting his 23 starts with Tampa and his 3 starts with the Tigers. Check swing on a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike for Chris Coghlan. It was up in the air, rather not Price was going to be dealt. The Rays were and still are in contention for the playoffs. Price is a very expensive piece. The Rays felt that they had the assets to move forward, and apparently they do. They've been on the same upward trajectory that they were, even with Price on the team. Four-seamer inside at the knees. 3 balls and 1 strike. We saw a dominant performance from Max Scherzer last night. Retribution for that no decision that Scherzer had against the Cubs the first time around. David Price, new to the team, is getting his first chance against the Cubs here. He's going to look to match that great performance he had against the Pirates that got him the W. Here's the payoff pitch to Coghlan. Fouled off. Coghlan 0 for 4 reached on a fielder's choice last night in 6th. Right now he's leading off with a duel against David Price. Another payoff pitch. Fouls that one off as well. Another one fouled off here. We've seen Hector Santiago and Robbie Grossman go at it to lead off a game. We've seen Danny Santana and Garrett Richards go at it to lead off a game. Now we have David Price and Chris Coghlan. Coghlan's looking to get on base here in the bottom of the first. Another one hit foul. Getting up there in the count here. In the pitch count, that is. That's 11 pitches to start off the game for David Price. It's not over yet. Coughlin gets this one up in the air. Looks playable for Davis, though. And after 13 pitches, it's a lazy fly out to center for out number 1. We'll see if that'll pay dividends for the Cubs moving forward. But in the meantime, here's Javier Baez. Baez over yesterday in 4 at-bats with a strikeout. Baez is to fish for that one, fouls it off. Two-seamer inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Only 3 pitches needed so far. We'll see if David Price can put Baez away. Native of Puerto Rico is Baez. Went to high school in Jacksonville. Was drafted by these Cubs in 2011 and finally made his debut on the 5th of this month. So he's only been a Cub for 13 days. Did not face the Tigers the first time around. It was back when Emilio Bonifacio was a member of the team, but he's now down in Atlanta. Now Contra over at second in place of Baez, while Bonifacio main center. This one hit weakly into the glove of Kinsler, spin throw, and he's able to make the out in time. Take a look at this glove work on replay. Kinsler was able to pick it up, then had to orient himself so that he could get off the throw. It would have been very awkward if he didn't do the spin. He wasn't just showing off. It pays off as we now have 2 outs for Anthony Rizzo. Anthony Rizzo in the first game against Max Scherzer hit a home run. In this second game, he went 0 for 4 with a strikeout, just like Baez. Now Rizzo's going to see if he can take care of business against Price tonight. You probably couldn't necessarily begrudge him, considering how tough the pitching staff the Tigers had. 2-0 count here to Rizzo. And he reaches for this one, carrying down the left field line, and Martinez will play it off of the ivy, and Rizzo is in with a 2-out double. So we'll look at this again. It looked like he reached for the pitch, and that's exactly what he did. Up at the belt level, but just outside of the zone. But Rizzo able to get that one down the third baseline. And here is Starlin Castro. Take a 2-seamer. Looked up and in for strike 1. Castro 1 for 4. Got a single late in the game. And got to second on a wild pitch. That 9th inning was an interesting one. Joe Nathan came in, looked very sloppy, but was still able to get the save. We'll see if Nathan is needed. We can improve on the efficiency. But his job is just to get the save at the end of the day. 6-3 put out to wrap up the first inning. But the Cubs do come up with the run. Can they hold off the tide of Tiger runs in the second inning? We'll find out after this. We saw 8 batters come up to the plate for Detroit in the first inning. The last one left here to lead off the second is the pitcher, David Price. Seamer outside from Wada. Outer half of the plate for strike one. David Price has 4 at-bats all season. Fouls off one into the Cubs dugout. Didn't get a hit in those 4 at-bats, all 4 of them with Tampa. And he struck out twice. This one, flying up into the air, playable for Ruggiano, and he's got out number 1. So some elevation off of the bat from Price, but otherwise nothing doing. We have 1 out as we restart the lineup for Rajai Davis. We got things going with a bunt single. Take a 4-seamer outer half of the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fouls this one off. This one right back up the middle, zooms past Wada. And very well hit ball by Rajai Davis gets him on base with a single for the second consecutive inning.
Now batting, second baseman, Ian Kinsler.
Only an inning and a third here for Wada. He's thrown 36 pitches. He's given up 5 hits, 4 runs. And here's Ian Kinsler, who got on with a double. That double brought home Davis. See if Kinsler can also join Davis on base. Not going to swing at that one. Let's look at the Wrigley Field crowd. Darn near a sellout. We had a great turnout last night. Looks like we're going to have another one this evening here on the north side. Does bring up the question of how attendance will be in the championship series. Kinsler puts this one in play, collected by Baez, gets the out at second, can't get the out at first. So Davis goes down on the fielder's choice, but Kinsler able to run it out. That's out number 2. And up comes Cabrera. He hasn't had to do much yet at the hot corner. He doesn't have an official at bat yet. At the first pitch here, fouls it off. Kickoff attempt at first keeps Kinsler honest. As far as the attendance, though, Houston had a great turnout against the Angels. That was their first home game at Minute Maid Park in the tournament. And Kinsler's going for it at second, sliding in. He's out. He's caught stealing, so we'll deal with Cabrera later as 3 batters come up and 3 go down. Bottom of the second is coming. 4-0 Detroit. Luis Valbuena leading off the bottom of the second inning. Cubs looking to get some offense going here against David Price. Four-seamer inside for ball 1. Rizzo was the only one to get a hit, so we don't have to worry about a no-hitter. Those questions definitely came up last night with both Scherzer and Hendricks. But between the Tigers batters, Rizzo getting a hit, we don't have to worry about that, at least early on here. It'll just be a matter of if the Cubs can come back. It's very early in this game, but they are down by 4 runs. This one, hidden play, rolls into center field. Davis will round it up. He'll throw it back into the infield. Valbuena has a leadoff single. Take a look at it again on replay. Valbuena was very patient. He just waited for the right moment to send this one back the other way. Here comes Arizmendi Alcantara. Moved up to 6 here in the lineup, which he had been playing at all week in the regular season games. This is his first time at 6 here in the tournament. Ruggiano will come up next. This one hit, rounded up by Kinsler. 4-6. That's all we're going to get here. That one is overthrown, and Alcantara is able to reach second base. Not a good move there by Eugenio Suarez, who's usually been very good with these sorts of things. Able to get the out at second, and that definitely would have been a double play if the throw was more on target. So here's Justin Ruggiano with Alcantara on first now. It's a 2-base error for Suarez in E6. First pitch to Ruggiano, in there for a strike. Swing and a miss by Ruggiano. He's already behind. No balls and 2 strikes. Looking to advance Alcantara. Alcantara in scoring position, so if Ruggiano can drop one in the outfield, it'll definitely be 1 run. At this point, anything will help to put a dent into this 4-run deficit for the Cubs. The 1-2. This one fouled off. That one outer half of the zone. Ruggiano gets a piece of it just a bit late on the swing. It is still 1 ball and 2 strikes. This one hit right to Cabrera. There's his first bit of action in this game. 5-3 put out at first, and that'll keep Alcantara at second. 2 outs. Here comes the last position player in the lineup, Wellington Castillo. Castillo went 0 for 3 yesterday, reached on a fielder's choice in the 5th inning last night. Take a pitch inside. David Price so far has given up 2 hits so far, but that's it. That's a comparison to Wada giving up 5 hits and 4 runs, all of them earned. This one put in play, drops into the glove of Torii Hunter. He dives for it, and he'll get out number 3. What a catch by Torii Hunter. As the Cubs come out of the second inning still scoreless.
Leading off for the Tigers, third baseman,
Miguel Cabrera getting his first bit of fielding action back in the bottom of the second. He's going to see what he can do here in the top of the third, leading off. Takes a slider inside for ball 1. Cabrera was in the game at the end of the second inning, but Kinsler was caught stealing at second. So Cabrera gets a fresh count to work with. See if he can put a ball in play. Seamer outside. He didn't have to in the first inning. Drew a walk. See if he will take his base or if he will record an at-bat here with a 1-1 count. Ooh, good hit. Fouled off. Just late on the swing. Wada catching Cabrera off guard. Wada here in the top of the third also. 2 official innings of work. He's already at 45 pitches after that brutal first, where he gave up 4. And Cabrera puts this one in play, collected by Rizzo, and Wada covers first in time for the first out. Look at this again. Rizzo reaching out for it. Wada doing what he needs to do to cover. It's teamwork like that can help the Cubs get through what was a rough beginning of the game. And by comparison, has been pretty tame. 2 base runners reached back in the second inning. Only 1 official hit. So Wada going to look for more of the second inning production than what he got in the first. Victor Martinez takes a strike. Here comes the 0-1. Slider. Ears high, 1 ball, 2 strikes. After Wada finished up his 9 seasons in Japan, he moved on to AAA Norfolk, which is the affiliate of the Orioles. And he was shifted over to the Cubs AAA affiliate, signed with them back in January. How's that one off? So while the Orioles felt that they could not do much with Wada at about 30, 31 years old, the Cubs brought him up and hope that he will be a part of what has been a long rebuilding process for the Cubs. Full count here to Victor Martinez. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And Martinez, this is one really weakly. Wada should be able to field this, and that's exactly what he does. So after a 3-1 putout to start off the inning, out number 2 is a 1-3 putout. So Wada and Rizzo developing a lot of chemistry here. Here is Torii Hunter. Back up at the plate, made an amazing catch to end the bottom of the second. Oh, right, and he also hit a 3-run home run back in the first. There's that, too. So 1 for 1 today with 3 RBIs. And he's definitely looking for more. Tigers have not been able to get more. He's going to see if he can do it here. Into center field is traveling, but Alcantara's under it. for out number 3. That one looked like it had some promise to it, but 3 up, 3 down inning for Wada as he's trying to calm down from that rough first. It's still 4-0 heading into the bottom of the 3rd. There's Tsuyoshi Wada finally getting his first time up at the plate to lead off the 3rd inning. Two-seamer in there for a strike. He only made 6 starts at the major league level. He's already had to bat 12 times, 12 plate appearances, 10 official at bats. Has yet to get a hit though. Struck out 4 times, walked once. Definitely got more bat work in Iowa. 31 plate appearances, 3 for 24. He walked 3 times. 2 balls and 2 strikes here. Price trying to put the pitcher away. And just to close out his full career, Tsuyoshi Wada 4 for 39 over his 9 years in Japan. Fouls this one off. And Wada will go down on strikes. That's David Price's first strikeout. Wada on the mound only has 1 as well. So now that'll bring up Chris Coghlan to reset the lineup. He went 13 pitches deep to lead off the game against David Price. So Price is now at 44. Like Wada, who was pushing 50. Top half of this inning. Well, Price is up there with him too, with no runs given up. But as the lineup resets for the Cubs, they're going to look to see if they can get some offense going. We haven't seen any here so far.
1 ball, 1 strike.
It's 1 game and change here in Chicago. The Cubs literally have yet to score a run in this regional championship. Coghlan jammed on the 2-1 and fouls it off. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And that one will get him. Swings late. And there's strikeout number 2. So early on here in the bottom of the 3rd, with the first 2 outs, it looks like David Price is starting to get the K machine going. Here's Javier Baez to see if he can keep his team from going down in 3 batters. Last run scored by the Cubs is an RBI single at Milwaukee by Ryan Sweeney. That was in a 5-4 victory. 5-3 victory. Baez takes another strike, or takes another ball. 2 balls, no strikes. on a two-seamer. Push Baez away, so now it is 3 balls and no strikes. And Price cannot strike out his third batter. Instead, he walks. So after 2 strikeouts, he gives up a walk. Now here's Anthony Rizzo. Probably the biggest threat in a lineup that admittedly doesn't hit well against left-handers. Fourth Cub to reach base is Baez. But Price has only given up 2 hits. Here's a 1-0. This one will drop into the glove of Davis, sliding catch. And the Tigers fielders have just been ridiculous in this game. They are playing to win, and they are ahead 4-0 after 3. We now enter the middle third of the game, and here's J.D. Martinez. He got a single back in the first. He got a home run last night. And this one carrying into left field, still going at the warning track, and able to track it down is Chris Coghlan for out number 1. Very well hit, but great job by Coghlan to get on his horse and get a very important out number 1. Tigers haven't scored since those 4 runs in the first, and the Cubs are looking to keep it that way. Wada's 57th pitch is a 4-seamer, up and out for ball 1. Suarez struck out his first time up. And committed an error in the second inning. Got Alcantara to second base. This one put in play, rounded up by Baez. And that's out number 2. So the hits have progressively become harder to come by for the Tigers. That's 5 straight retired batters by Tsuyoshi Wada. Here's Brian Holliday. He popped up in foul territory to first his first time up. Swing and a miss on the 4-seamer. Holliday takes a slider, 2 balls, 1 strike. 239 on the year for Brian Holliday, 26 hits. Has yet to record a home run. He's batted in 9 runs. He only has 2 extra base hits, 1 double, 1 triple. He's facing a 2-2 count here against Wada. Tsuyoshi looking to take him down in 3 batters. He won't do it on that pitch. Holliday looking to keep the inning going. Brian Holliday, born in Dallas, Texas, went to high school in Dallas. This one popped back and off the netting foul. Spent some time in North Central Texas College and then transferred to TCU. The Horned Frog runs the count full with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th inning. Tigers ahead 4-0 with the bases empty. Oh, and he swings on a pitch that would have been a ball. Holliday is now 0 for 2 with a strikeout. That's Wada's 3rd. or Wada's second, but his second 3-up, 3-down inning. Bottom of the fourth here from the north side of Chicago. I'm Raymond Sims. And the Tigers are ahead 4-0 as Starlin Castro will lead off this half inning. Grounded out to short his last time up. And that hit closed out the first inning. Ever since that 4-run top of the first, the game has been pretty much coasting along here. This one hit to Cabrera. And there is his second time being involved in and out. And that's out number 1 for the inning. Here is Luis Valbuena. Valbuena fouls that one off. Like I said, the Cubs just don't do well against left-handed pitchers. While the pitch count is a bit high for David Price, it looks like he's going to be in here for a while. It's going to be a bit of a tear, and the Cubs are just going to have to keep swinging away until they can get some stuff into the outfield. It may have to result to some small ball whenever they do get on base. They only have 2 hits today. Double by Rizzo, a single by Valbuena. The only one still batting 1,000 for the Cubs so far this evening. It's a 2-seamer outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Check swing, let's appeal to third. He didn't go. Full count here to Valbuena. That one outer half of the plate, and he's just going to look at it. Third strikeout for David Price. That's out number 2. Here comes Arizmendi, Alcantara. Alcantara reached on a 2-base error. His last time up, it was supposed to be the back end of a 4-6-3 double play. But the 6, Yaniel Suarez, airmailed one over Victor Martinez. And it landed up against the dugout. Curveball in there, 1 ball, 1 strike. Two-seamer outside, 2 balls, 1 strike. Alcantara with ball to bat. It was sail, foul. As it stands right now, the Tigers and Astros will be facing off in the Coliseum Baseball Championship Series. Alcantara facing a full count. This one will roll into right field. And that's a 2-out single for Alcantara. He reaches base for the 2nd time today. Here's Justin Ruggiano. Had a bit of a duel there against Price his last time up when he eventually grounded out to third. See if Ruggiano can push Price to the limit here with 2 outs and a runner on first. Also of note, if it is Tigers Astros, the Tigers will host the first 2 games. They'll have home field advantage because even though they do have a loss in the tournament, they are still the #1 seed in this tournament. Opposed to the Astros, who have stunned their way through, the #8 seed coming out of the Western region. 2-1 count to Ruggiano. Coliseum Baseball Championship Series action, by the way, starts on Monday. Hope you'll join us then. 2-seamer in there, 3 balls, 1 strike, and if Ruggiano can reach, you'll see that man there, Wellington Castillo, step up to the plate. Lined out to right his last time up, Torrey Hunter making a beautiful catch there to end the second inning. So after a full count to Alcantara, David Price at it again here against Justin Ruggiano. Alcantara hit a single. What will Ruggiano do? Alcantara going for it on the full count. Another payoff pitch, also fouled off. So yes, as is customary, Alcantara will be running on 3-2. Hoping to see if he'll possibly leg out extra bases if Ruggiano can put it in play, which he won't do here as he fouls it off. Contentious at bat here for Ruggiano, and he'll go down on strikes. Ruggiano trying to fight tooth and nail, but instead he'll just end up being the 4th strikeout victim for David Price. 4-0, heading into the top of the 5th.
Leading off for the Tigers, pitcher, David Price.
So for the second time today, David Price will be leading off an inning. Flew out to right back in the second. As an American League pitcher, don't expect much pop out of David Price's bat. But if he does reach base, then the Cubs may have bigger problems. Tsuyoshi Wada has retired 6 straight batters. Still trying to overcome that 4-run first inning. As I've said several times when other pitchers have faced bad outings, you can't generate runs, you can't take runs away. You can just prevent them from happening. So you got to move forward. There's the 1-2 from Wada. Slider outside. Two balls and 2 strikes here for David Price. O'Deek at the 4-seamer inside. But it's ball 3. Rajai Davis is due up next. He has been a menace so far this afternoon for Tsuyoshi Wada. Hit a single in the first and in the second. Price able to keep the at-bat alive, fouling off the pitch. And Price will go down on strikes, 2nd straight strikeout for Tsuyoshi Wada, and his 3rd of the game. All 3 of his strikeouts have been against a batter here in the bottom 3rd of the lineup. But now we'll restart as we return to the top half of the lineup. Here's Rajay Davis, 2 for 2 today, with a run scored. Four-seamer below the knees, 1 ball, no strikes. Davis puts this one in play, but lines it out to Castro for out number 2. And for now, the menace has been stopped. So after 2 hard-hit singles in the first and second inning, now in the 5th, after some time off, Davis lines out to shortstop. That's 2 outs as Ian Kinsler comes up to the plate. He's 1 for 2, but he's reached base twice, a double and a fielder's choice for Ian Kinsler. Wada with that K now has 50 strikes. And you can make that 51 with the changeup. Seamer too high. Looked at script level there with the curse of Detroit. That's how high it was. 1 ball, 1 strike. Four-seamer inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Wada's at 80 pitches, and he's looking to put away Ian Kinsler. If trouble arises again, Carlos Villanueva has been pitching over in the bullpen for a while, and there's actually 2 Cubs now in the bullpen, as Wada does, in fact, allow a hit.
Third baseman number 24, Miguel Cabrera.
Here's the third baseman, Miguel Cabrera, dealing with 2 outs here and a runner on first. Tigers haven't scored since the first inning. That's all they've needed so far. We'll find out here if the Tigers can add anything else. 4 runs is definitely assurance, but a little more hasn't hurt anybody. Two-seamer outside. Now, the last time Cabrera was up and Kinsler was on base, Kinsler tried to steal second and was thrown out, forcing Cabrera to lead off the third. Will we see a repeat? Not on that pitch. Four-seamer outer half. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cabrera swings and fouls it off. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pickoff attempt at first. Always worth a shot. As I said, Kinsler was caught stealing at second. Why not see if you can get him at first? Here's the 1-2. Now one sails high. 2-2 count. Wada a strike away from closing out the inning and avoiding danger. Four-seamer in the dirt here. Wada very leery of trying to put in a strike and serving anything up for Miguel Cabrera. That's what Kyle Hendricks did. He fell behind against JD Martinez, who he had to put in a strike. Paid for it dearly. So still a full count here to Miguel Cabrera. Will Wada put him away? The pitch. In there, and he fouls it off. Pickoff attempt at first. Probably could have been out, but the throw took Rizzo off base. If Cabrera reaches, Victor Martinez is due up next. That one will be fouled off. Here's the 3-2. And another one goes foul. A lot of souvenirs flying into the stands here as Miguel Cabrera looks to stay alive against Tsuyoshi Wada. And another one. So while Wada's pitches were numbered, just in general in terms of batters, this one sailing foul as well. Cabrera is running up the pitch count even higher. Pretty much expediting Wada's chances, or raising Wada's chances of being taken out. But Wada will take Cabrera out after going at it. For more pitches than I can count, Wada comes out scot-free. It's still 4-0 from Chicago. Wellington Castillo was the victim of a web gem back in the bottom of the second inning. He's leading off the bottom of the fifth here. Two-seamer in there for a strike. We're halfway home here from Wrigley Field. And at least at this juncture, halfway through, it is not looking good for the Cubs and their chances of getting into the Coliseum Baseball Championship Series. They're behind 4-0. David Price is dealing against these Cub hitters. He has given up 3 hits so far and no runs. Cubs have left 4 men on base. And another strikeout. This one leads off the inning. That'll be number 5 for David Price. He flipped the switch on the K machine back in the third. So as I said before, especially after a brutal at-bat against Miguel Cabrera in the previous half inning, Tsuyoshi Wada's chances of being taken out of the game were raising by the throw. So here's Junior Lake, pinch hitting for Wada. We'll see who will come up in Wada's stead on the mound in the next half inning, the top of the 6th. Four-seamer veers outside with 2 balls and no strikes. Junior Lake has had his share of struggles so far this season up at the plate. .216 with 9 homers and 25 RBIs, as well as 102 strikeouts to his name. He's the only Cub with triple-digit strikeouts. Anthony Rizzo's 1 away. He is 99. But Rizzo has 99 in 121 games. Lake has 102 in 98. But he'll come into the game and he'll take his base here. So he's useful, and we have 1 on with 1 out. So that'll bring up Chris Coghlan, who, even though he's 0-2 today, has been the bane of David Price's existence. He's been running up the pitch count every time he stepped up to the plate. This one in the dirt. Holiday able to trap it. We saw some issues with Avila. He's been behind the plate. This one's carrying into left field. But JD Martinez is under it, forcing Lake to retreat back to first. But yeah, we saw some troubles there at times with Alex Avila. I mean, he still did a very good job. He's just getting a break today. Holiday has done well so far in the short span of time that he's been behind the plate here in the tournament. Javier Baez comes up with 2 outs. Lake still at first. Five strikeouts, 2 walks so far today for David Price. He wouldn't mind getting another K to close out the inning. Javier Baez 0-1. He got on with a walk back in the third. Lake's going for it here at second, sliding in, and he is safe. So while in the regular season he's had his troubles, he gets on base here and then steals second to get into scoring position for Baez. Junior Lake has 7 stolen bases this season on 10 attempts. Swing and a miss for Baez. 1 ball, 2 strikes here. Here comes the 1-2. Swing and a miss. There is strikeout number 6 for David Price. So though Lake does the smart thing and moves into scoring position, he's going to be stranded. We'll head to the top of the 6th. We'll find out who the new pitcher is for the Cubs. So they are behind 4-0. Neil Ramirez coming into the game for Tsuyoshi Wada. Wada finishes the day, 5 innings of work, 6 hits given up, 4 runs, all of them earned, and 3 strikeouts, and 1 walk. First pitch to Victor Martinez, hits him. Not the best way to start here. Okay, they'll say Martinez moved out of the way in time, but still not a good way to start things off. This pitch goes the complete opposite way, and now it's 2 balls and no strikes. Another 4-seamer, and Neil Ramirez in 3 pitches has yet to find the zone. He's pitched into Martinez twice. He pitched outside once. Can he find the zone here on pitch number 4? Oh, goodness, no. Low and outside. Not the debut you want.
The right fielder, number 48, Torrey Hunter.
So Martinez draws a walk to lead off the inning. Ramirez actually had a better night yesterday. But here's Torrey Hunter up at the plate. He hit a 3-run shot opposite field. The Tigers were already ahead 1-0, and that just cemented the lead even more. First pitch to Hunter outside for a strike. Ramirez actually had a better go of it yesterday. He came in relief for Hendricks in the top of the 6th inning, and he retired the 2 batters he faced. That was Castellanos and Avila. He even got Avila striking out looking. He got off to a rough start there against Victor Martinez. Hunter, he's doing a little better. He actually thrown a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. JD's due up next. Ball and 2 strikes here. Just to reacquaint you with Neil like I did yesterday, the redhead from Virginia Beach, drafted by the Texas Rangers in 2007. This one popped up into center field. Alcantara should not have a problem with it. He doesn't. He'll be able to keep Martinez at first for out number 1. Martinez debuted at the end of April on the 25th. Now he has a 1-1 record in 35 appearances with a 1.21 ERA. Here's J.D. Martinez. He's 1 for 2 today. Got that single back in the first and flew out to right back in the fourth. Flew out to left, rather, back in the fourth. And we saw that one. That was a very well-hit ball, but Chris Coghlan was able to chase that one down. Martinez leading off from first. You can see by the speed and steal stats presented by MLB 14 The Show. There in that first base inset, Martinez not the most prolific at base running. So we probably won't expect him to steal, but you never know what happens. Ramirez with an 0-2 count here against J.D. Martinez. Curveball outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. One fouled off. Two outside, and Ramirez, who started off this at bat leading with an 0-2 count, has fallen behind. He's in danger of walking his second batter. And there it is. So Ramirez looked in business, 0-2, and then he throws 4 straight balls. So now you have 2 Martinez's on base. Victor at second, J.D. at first, with 1 out in the top of the 6th. Here's Eugenio Suarez, 0 for 2 so far today. But he swings at the first pitch, gets into the glove of Baez, and able to get the out at first. But both Martinez's will advance a base. So for the second time today, Suarez grounds out to Baez. Baez diving out for it. Every out counts here in this situation. So still a very important out, even though now 2 Tigers are in scoring position. Brian Holiday will be tasked with bringing them in. Tigers already ahead by 4. Swings at the first pitch. It will drop past Coghlan, who tried to dive for it. So that'll bring both Martinez's home, and that is an RBI double for Brian Holiday, and is now 6-0 in favor of the Tigers. Let's take a look at this on replay. We've seen a number of diving catches. We saw from Rajay Davis. We saw one from Torrey Hunter. So Chris Coghlan tried to follow suit, and it just doesn't work for him. Not in that case, and it proves costly. So 2 RBI double will bring home Victor and J.D. Martinez. 6-0 here in the top of the 6th. David Price up at the plate. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout, but those were against Tsuyoshi Wada. Ramirez needs just 1 more out to get out of this inning. But can Price, of all people, keep the party going? This one fouled off. Here's the 1-2. Fish for that one, foul that one back as well. Swing and a miss, and Ramirez closed out his outing with a strikeout. He closes out this inning as well, but he gave up 2 runs. So it's now 6-0 in favor of the Tigers heading into the bottom of the 6th inning. Anthony Rizzo leading off the inning, his 3rd at bat today. He's 1 for 2. He got a double back in the 1st. Four-seamer in her half for strike 1. Swing and a miss. Two-seamer inside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Two-seamer inside, 2-2 count here to Anthony Rizzo. The Cubs have yet to score a run here in their home park. Rizzo hoping he can lead to some change. Facing a full count here, Starlin Castro's due up next. This one fouled off into the crowd. And there's a lot of crowd to foul it off into. A great turnout, probably going to match the 40,455 that were present yesterday. Fouled off as well. Got a lot of good crowds over the course of the tournament. The highest one, 55,363. Went to see the Dodgers lose and get eliminated by the Padres, 3-2. Will a big crowd be witnessing a home loss here as well? Comes to behind by 6, and Rizzo goes down on strikes. So Price ends the 5th with a strikeout, starts the 6th with a strikeout. He did that between the 4th and 5th as well. David Price has just been going to work so far this evening. 7 strikeouts for David Price. Cut fastball inside for strike 1 to Starlin Castro. It has become night here at Wrigley Field. It looks like it may be hitting midnight for the Cinderella story, the Cubs. Beat the Tigers in the first game of the tournament. And made it through the winner's bracket. They took down the likes of Toronto in Toronto convincingly 8-3. Then handled the Brewers 5-3. Now here they are, being held scoreless at home against the Detroit Tigers. Castro grounds out to second. That's out number 2. Valbuena pops this one up into the air. And under it is Kinsler. No problem. 3 up and 3 down through 6. Heading into the final third of the game here. 4 runs in the first, 2 in the 6th, and the Tigers look well on their way to moving on to the Coliseum Baseball Championship Series. After Ramirez gave up those 2 runs in the 6th, his day is done. Here's Jacob Turner, who recently came over from Miami. First batter he'll face is Rajai Davis, who's had a great day, 2 singles, and lined out to short his last time up. And Davis, after starting off with 2 singles, goes down on strikes to Jacob Turner. He'll start off much better than Ramirez did. Starts off with a strikeout to lead off the 7th. Kinsler pops up to right. Now here's Miguel Cabrera in there for and Miguel Cabrera goes down on strikes looking. So Jacob Turner goes 3 up, 3 down. It's 6-0. Time to stretch in Chicago. 2-1 count here to Ruggiano. David Price at 113 pitches. He went long against Pittsburgh, and that was also a decisive win. Brad Ausmus just using David Price for as long as he can. Still looking pretty good. This one popped up to left field, traveling at the warning track, collected by J.D. Martinez for out number 2. So Ruggiano doing a good job of running up the pitches, but it doesn't seem to make a difference in the end. This one flies out to left. I was wondering aloud early on, with Ruggiano and Coughlin both doing a good job of having long at-bats, if that was going to affect David Price in the end. I guess the answer so far has been no. He still has yet to give up a run as he throws a ball to Wellington Castillo. He's only given up 3 hits total. He has retired 8 straight batters. So it seems he's actually gotten stronger as the game has gone on. This one hit weakly, rounded up by Suarez. That throw a little high, but he gets it to Victor Martinez for out number 3. So after 7 and 9 straight retired, the Cubs still being shut out. Get to the top of the 8th.
Leading off for Detroit, first baseman, Victor Martinez.
Two balls, 2 strikes here to Victor Martinez. Jacob Turner came into the game back in the top of the 7th, and he has 2 strikeouts. And he got Ian Kinsler to fly out to right. He's having a little bit more trouble here against Victor. Let's see if he can turn things around. Three balls, 2 strikes. Torrey Hunter due up next here in the top of the 8th. And the Cubs are well behind, 6-0. That pitch fouled off, and we'll have another payoff pitch. Martinez walked his last time up. He's 0 for 2 today. 0 for 3. Turner with his 3rd strikeout in 4 batters. All of them looking. He has just been making batters look silly. Just look at the pitching comparison. Night and day. Night and day. Here's Torrey Hunter. 3-run shot back in the 1st. Made it 4-0. He hasn't been able to get anything going since then. He's flown out to center on 2 occasions. Take a 2-seamer outside for strike 1. Hunter gets this one in the air, but it will veer foul. One ball and 2 strikes for Torrey Hunter. foul that one up. This one fouled back. This one hit to Baez, and that'll be out number 2. Jacob Turner has taken down every batter he's faced, and he has 3 strikeouts. Here's J.D. Martinez as he can go 3 up and 3 down for the second consecutive inning. Turner looked pretty good in the late innings yesterday as well. He went 2 innings of work, put 2 on base, but only gave up 1 hit. This makes you wonder what he could do in extended time. But we won't find out here. 2-0 count. The ball lost its way in there for strike 1. JD 1 for 2, single, drew a walk, eventually came home. Circle change inside. Due up next is Eugenio Suarez, who's 0 for 3 today. One in the dirt. J.D. Martinez will take his second base. And that's the first base runner allowed by Jacob Turner. Here is Eugenio Suarez. As I said before, 0 for 3. He's grounded out to Baez twice, and he struck out his first time up. Let's see if he can generate any more offense. The Tigers are already ahead 6-0. Swing and a miss there. Swing and a miss, and Eugenio Suarez goes down on strike. So even though Turner allowed a base runner, he strikes out another batter. That's 4 Ks for Turner. It's still 6-0 heading into the bottom of the 8th.
Your attention, please. Pinch hitting for the Cubs, number 6, Ryan.
Pitcher spot leading off the 8th inning, and it looks like it won't be Jacob Turner. Here's Ryan Sweeney now. Pinch hitting for Turner. Pinch hitter Junior Lake back in the 5th. Walked and stole a base. David Price reaching into the late innings here, 119 pitches. He has looked good throughout this game, and he actually hasn't given up a hit since the 4th inning. Will he go the complete game? We've only seen 1 complete game so far. That was R.A. Dickey. This one's traveling into center field with Davis under it for out number 1. R.A. Dickey for Toronto against the Pirates. Had a complete game. David Price against the Pirates. 7 2/3. So now 7 1/3 through the alley. Here comes Chris Coughlin. Chris Coughlin has been part of the reason that David Price has such a high pitch count. He's been having some pretty epic at-bats against Price, but has nothing to show for it. He's 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Pitch number 121. Two-seamer in there for strike one. And I'm pretty sure this 121 pitches is a record here in this tournament. Pitch count is not a formally tracked stat here in the tournament. A few pitchers in this tournament reached 100 pitches, let alone 122. Broken bat popped up. Holiday comes out of his crouch and collects it for out number 2. Look at it again. Broken bat there. Chris Coughlin. Go back to the dugout. A little twig of wood. 0 for 4 record here on the night. There's Javier Baez up at the plate, 0 for 2 and a walk. Two-seamer over the plate. Cubs have yet to score a run at Wrigley Field in this tournament. The Tigers are looking to put away the Cubs with the largest margin of victory in any tournament game. We've seen multiple ones hit 5, including Detroit's 7-2 win over Pittsburgh. But 6 would be the largest margin of victory if they can hang on. Baez hits this one fair, rounded up by Davis. That is a 2-out single. The 4th hit given up by David Price, but we'll see when and if Brad Ausmus decides to call it a day with David Price. He's only an inning and a third away from just completing the game. His team's already ahead 6. So shouldn't be much to freak out about. Here's Anthony Rizzo. Going to see if he can put the Cubs on the board with a runner on first and 2 outs. Cubs have 4 hits today, as I mentioned. Tigers, though, have 7. Generated 6 runs out of it. And another broken bat, but this one could be enough to get Rizzo to reach. Never mind. Cabrera flashing the leather there in his new spot at third, and he gets the out. So Rizzo and Coughlin break their bats and have nothing to show for it. 4 hits, no runs for the Cubs heading to the top of the ninth. Kyuji Fujikawa. Let's see if he can close out the top of the ninth here. We're actually following the same pattern from last night, which I'm sure Cubs fans did not want the Cubs to do because they were behind then as well. But in terms of how the pitching has gone here in the series, it's been rookie starter here in the regional championship at least. It's been rookie starter Neil Ramirez, Jacob Turner, and Kyuji Fujikawa. First pitch a strike to Brian Holiday, who hit a 2 RBI double back in the 6th, which went from helped the Tigers go from a 4-0 lead to a 6-0 lead. As I was intimating back in the 8th, if the Tigers are able to pull off a victory without allowing a run, they will have the largest margin of victory in any game in this tournament. Holiday can't keep the bat hot like he hit back in the 6th, and he is out. We're out number 1. So David Price will not go the full 9 innings. As time comes up to bat, and Alex Avila will be batting for him. Alex Avila started at catcher in the first 6 games for the Tigers in this tournament. And Avila, in a pinch hit situation, able to get on with a single with 1 out here in the top of the 9th.
Now batting, the center fielder, Rajay Davis.
So Avila hanging out at first. Here's Rajay Davis. This one up in the air. This one's carrying to right field. And under it is Ruggiano. So ever since those 2 quick singles back in the first and second inning, Rajay Davis has yet to get back on base, even striking out in the 7th. So we have 2 outs here. Here's Ian Kinsler. 2 for 4. Reached base 3 times, though. Double, singled, and a fielder's choice. Fujikawa's only thrown 7 pitches. He needs just 1 more to close out the inning. Kinsler puts this one in play. He will fly out to left. So if the Cubs want to get this win, they're going to have to get started swinging. They are down 6-0 heading into the bottom of the 9th.
Your attention, please. Now pitching for the Tigers,
David Price will not go the whole 9 innings. Jabba Chamberlain will be tasked with closing this one out. It's a non-save situation. Still pretty important. Starlin Castro to lead off the inning here. Cubs were the Cinderella story, much like the Astros out west, winning their first three games of the tournament. But then heading into the regional championship, they needed one win against a team that they already took down. Weren't able to close it out in the first game. Here in the second game, they actually do worse than before. Cubs can at least hold their head high that they did better than the Southsiders, who went down in 2 games. Lost at the Nationals, and lost to the Marlins on the south side of town here. Unless they can get something going, it's like they will go down unceremoniously, allowing 9 runs and scoring none. 2-2 count here to Starlin Castro. This one hit right back at him between his legs and rolls into center field. Leadoff single for Starlin Castro. Castro's thinking it's not over yet. Here's Luis Valbuena. Got Castro at first, looking to make something happen. At the very least, the Cubs could keep from losing by the largest margin in this entire tournament. 5 has been reached multiple times, but not 6. The Cubs could keep that from happening, at least here in the bottom of the ninth. Chamberlain, the changeup inside. Cubs were able to come back in their half of the ninth against Detroit, back when they got that win to start off the tournament that propelled them into the winner's bracket. This one might be just a bit too much to make up, but you never know. That's why they play the game. It should go without saying the Tigers have scored the most runs in this tournament. And that was just coming into the game. 30 heading into this game. Foul tip strikeout for Luis Valbuena for out number 1. 30 runs scored heading into this game for the Detroit Tigers. Now they're at 36. That pushes them even further in the lead. And the Astros, who have scored 16 throughout this tournament, unless they just completely go ballistic in the championship series, I think that lead's going to be pretty safe there for the Tigers. First pitch to Alcantara is a strike. He is 1 for 3 today. With a single, he reached second on an error. Now he pops this one into right field, carrying Torrey Hunter, chasing it down, and he's got it just in front of the warning track for out number 2. Tigers are an out away from heading to the Coliseum Baseball Championship Series. Ruggiano up at the plate with Castro at first. One last chance to start the rally. Ruggiano takes a slider outside. Javier Baez is the tying run, sitting very deep on the Cubs bench. A couple guys between Ruggiano and Baez. That much for sure. Is a four-seamer too low. Due up to even get to that point, you got Ruggiano, Castillo, the pitcher spot. I'm pretty sure Fujikawa is done for the day. Coughlin and then Baez. So you're going to get something going. Might as well get it going now. 2-0 count from Jabba Chamberlain. Justin Ruggiano, it's a four-seamer outside of the zone. Chamberlain having trouble here against Ruggiano. Ruggiano and Coughlin do a good job of running up the pitch count against Price. It didn't do much. And Chamberlain saves the at-bat with a strike. 3 balls and 1 strike to Justin Ruggiano. He's 0 for 3 with a strikeout back in the 4th. Swing and a miss on the slider. Now the count is full. Grounded out in the 2nd. Struck out in the 4th. Flew out in the 7th. A line out would complete the cycle. The cycle of retirements. Pitch outside. Game not over yet. As Chamberlain gives up a walk. 2 outs. Men on 1st and 2nd. Wellington Castillo will step up to the plate. This time up, he grounded out. Struck out in the 5th. He's 0 for 3. Said before, the Cubs could at least keep from losing by the most runs in a game in this tournament. That definitely could happen here. Jabba Chamberlain can't close it out. Curveball in there for a strike. Castro's at 2nd in scoring position. Ruggiano's at 1st. Can Castillo generate any offense? He is 0 for the entire 2 games here at Wrigley Field. Reached on a fielder's choice yesterday at least. But yeah, just not a good time for him. Four-seamer outside. Trying to go back before this at-bat ends. Castillo had 3 strikeouts against Milwaukee, but he reached base on a walk. Swing and a miss on the slider, and Castillo will go 0 for today. And the Tigers will move on to the Championship Series of the Coliseum Baseball Tournament. They are CBCS bound. They lost to the Cubs, and then it comes full circle as they take them down twice, asserting their dominance as the Eastern Region champions. How's that for poetic justice? Get caught lacking the first time around, and then the second time, finally get that chance to make it right. Do you ever make it right? 6-0, the Tigers win, and they shut out the Cubs at home. What a series, 2 games that it has been, and the Tigers have really shown their dominance ever since that one loss. Top player of the game here is David Price, and of course it had to be 8 innings. He gets up to the 120 range in pitches, finishes the day with 7 strikeouts and only 2 walks. So, wow, what a ride this has been. We're done with regional play, people, and it's now a whole new ball game as the Tigers will face the Astros starting Monday in Detroit for the Coliseum Baseball Championship Series. It's best of 5. So it's going to be a whole new level of intensity. 16 teams entered. Now we're going to have 2 going for the championship. So that'll do it for this presentation of the Coliseum Baseball Tournament here on the Coliseum Sports Network. Be sure to like and subscribe. Be sure to check out Sims Coliseum as well as the Sims Coliseum Twitter account, Facebook account, and Tumblr account. But the Tigers win 6-0, shutting out the Cubs at home. I'm Raymond Sims. Thank you for watching.